Days after a massive snowstorm, Southern Californians still trapped in their homes with some running out of critical supplies. We'll have the latest on the rescue efforts.
I'm Emma Charles reporting live on campus at Chapman. I'm here to tell you about the new app Fizz, which critics say has brought new online harassment to our campus and others in California.
And dining out is a new experience at one Orange County restaurant with robots on staff. We'll show you more.
From Dodge College of Film and Media Arts, this is Chapman News.
Good afternoon and welcome to this week's edition of Chapman News. I'm Claire Weber.
And I'm Gavin Nguyen. Today we begin with breaking news out of Mexico.
Authorities in Mexico today say 2 of the 4 Americans kidnapped there last week have been killed. The AP and CNN are reporting that relatives of the 4 say one member of the group had a tummy tuck appointment in Matamoros, Mexico, but their car was ambushed before the group arrived to the doctor's office. Investigators believe the Americans were attacked by a Mexican cartel that likely mistook them for drug smugglers. We don't know yet which of the 4 Americans were killed.
The recent record-setting snowfall in the Southern California mountains continues to cause problems. Some 170 San Bernardino County residents were rescued recently after spending days trapped in their homes. Local authorities are working with the Red Cross to deliver supplies to those who are still unable to get out. Early on in the storm, some residents ventured out to get groceries and other essentials, but then discovered they could not get back to their homes.
We have our whole life up there, our businesses, my job, my laptop, everything's there. We didn't bring any luggage, any clothes to stay down here for 5 days. We need to get home.
Although some major roads have been cleared and deemed passable, smaller neighborhood roads are still very difficult to drive on. Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency in 13 counties, allowing the California National Guard to help with rescues and other recovery efforts. Our weather anchor Luis Avila joins us now to have a closer look at the snow, which was still coming down this weekend.
Hi, Claire and Gavin.
Welcome, Luis. We're happy you're here. Can you tell us a little more about the recent snowfall we saw in California this weekend?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. Take a look at this video here showing a rare sight here in Orange. That's right, snow. And some parts of Orange County saw similar conditions last week. Now, the snow last week brought 5 feet of snow to San Bernardino within a span of 5 days. Overall, some parts of California have been hit with more than 12 feet of snow. Wow. That's just astonishing, right? The Sierra Nevada snowpacks are currently about double the average amount, and the state can expect some more snow in the coming week.
Well, thanks for that snowy update, Luis.
Of course, and I'll have your weather forecast coming up in a bit.
In other weather news, you may have heard about the super bloom, but flowers aren't the only things blooming here in California. All the recent rain has set off a rare mushroom season known as a super shroom. You may already know this, but mushrooms play a vital role in the environment. They provide nutrients to surrounding plants and decompose of any waste. Experts say the best place to find them is around oak trees. Be sure to familiarize yourself with which mushrooms are poisonous before eating them, although experts suggest to admire them from afar. The last time California experienced such a massive mushroom season was in 1997. Now, the Florida legislature opened its new session today, with the lawmakers focused on proposed laws that will impact the state's education curriculum. Some bills proposed by GOP state representatives include getting rid of gender studies in colleges and eliminating diversity initiatives. They also propose the continuation of a ban on the teaching of gender and sexuality in 3rd through 8th grade. Many Democrats, along with LGBTQ+ groups, say the bills are an attack on free speech and unfairly restrict educators. Also in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis has delivered his State of the Address today, highlighting his vision and priorities for Florida.
DeSantis was in Southern California this weekend at the Reagan Library. Chapman News reporter Julie Doshi joined us live in studio with more.
Thanks, Gavin and Claire. I covered the event in Simi Valley this past weekend where DeSantis touted his state's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and opposition to the teaching of critical race theory and other so-called woke curriculum. DeSantis has not yet announced if he is running for president, and his visit was billed to promote his new book. He is said to be considering whether to challenge former President Donald Trump, who has officially entered the race and is highly critical of DeSantis.
I know you guys got a lot of problems out here, but your governor's very concerned about what we're doing in Florida, so I figured I had to come by.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis visited the Ronald Reagan Library in Simi Valley and spoke to a crowd of over 1,000 people after the event sold out in under 24 hours.
Our state is where woke goes to die.
Standing below a decommissioned Air Force One plane, DeSantis highlighted his education record, including the state's decision to keep schools open during the pandemic, banning critical race theory in schools, and forbidding discussion related to sex and gender in elementary schools.
They should not be teaching a second grader that they can choose their gender. That is wrong.
A recent UC Berkeley poll shows that Californians prefer DeSantis over former President Donald Trump. The Florida governor leads Trump among GOP voters by 37 to 29%.
I think we're at a point where we need some young blood in the Republican Party.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump spoke the day before at the Conservative Political Action Conference in the D.C. area.
For those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Back in Simi Valley, hours before DeSantis arrived, the police department said Reagan Library employees found black spray paint on the entrance sign reading "Ron DeFascist."
Who are these people calling a fascist? They're defacing public property.
Outside the venue, demonstrators from several Democratic groups protested DeSantis' visit. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is now set to speak at a fundraising dinner in Orange County. It's private, closed to press, and has already raised over $740,000. I'm Juhi Doshi reporting in Simi Valley. Back to you. That's your latest political update. I'm Juhi Doshi. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Juhi.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the second train derailment in Ohio in just over a month. A train crashed near Springfield Saturday evening, but unlike a recent derailment in East Palestine last month, the EPA says no toxic chemicals were spilled in the latest incident. Both trains are owned by Norfolk Southern, and motorist Sean Heaton was a witness to the derailment this past weekend.
The train, I came down the road, I stopped, the gates came down, and all of a sudden right after that it just started crashing.
Meanwhile, state officials say crews have begun removing train tracks from the East Palestine crash site. When the train crashed, it caught fire, releasing dangerous chemicals into the air and soil. The release prompted fears about drinking water contamination because the crash site is roughly a mile away from 5 wells for East Palestine's water supply. Officials also say East Palestine's water plant hosted an open house Saturday to show residents how the water is being tested for safety.
In local news, the Orange City Council has long held monthly meetings, but now the council will be meeting twice a month. According to the Orange County Register, council members say the goal is to make it easier for City of Orange residents to participate in their local government. Meetings for this month are scheduled for next Tuesday the 14th and again on the 28th, both starting at 6 p.m. Also, Governor Gavin Newsom says California will no longer do business with Walgreens because the company will stop making abortion pills available in 20 states. Walgreens made the announcement after Republican leaders in those states threatened to take legal action against the retailer. Following Walgreens' decision, Newsom tweeted, quote, "We're done," and accused the company of, quote, "cowering to extremists." When asked to clarify Newsom's statement about severing business ties, a spokesman had no comment. Walgreens is one of the nation's largest drugstore chains in the U.S., with over 9,000 stores. After the break, we have the latest on OC-based Saddleback Church, which has been expelled from the Southern Baptist Convention.
I'm Luis Avila. Coming up, I'll have an update on the tornado aftermath in the South and Midwest and your 5-day Finestra forecast. Stay with us.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Spending time outdoors has never felt more valuable. Whether it's exploring nature or relaxing in your yard, let's do it responsibly. Before going out, check for closures and fire restrictions. Practice social distancing, even when outside and on the trail. Back at home, if burning yard debris, keep your pile small. And no matter where you are, be sure to properly extinguish any outdoor fire. Drown, stir, drown, feel. We're all in this together. Help keep our safe places safe.
Southern California is not the only place in the U.S. recovering from recent severe winter weather.
Powerful tornadoes also slammed into the south and west. Luis Avila joins us with more on that and our local forecast.
Thank you, Claire and Gavin. Now, a series of storms brought heavy rain, winds, and tornadoes from Texas to Indiana, leaving trails of destruction. At least 13 people were killed and more than 1 million people lost power. There was also widespread flooding and many homes were destroyed. Residents in Indiana described the frightening moments a tornado ripped through their town.
Me and the wife was standing at the window watching, and all of a sudden everything just kind of got dark and it was just swirling around, you couldn't even see.
This is the same storm system that brought all that heavy rain and snow to SoCal early last week. Now moving on to our local forecast. Currently here in Orange, 62 degrees, sunny and clear, perfect weather to go outside right after this forecast. Now moving on to our national forecast. Everybody else seems to be taking a break from the rain as well. Up in San Francisco, 53 degrees, 49 in Seattle, 64 in Sin City, 42 in Denver. Moving on to the Midwest, Minneapolis with a high of 38 today, 40 in the windy city of Chicago. Down in the South, 81 in Austin, 78 in Atlanta, and a warm 85 in Miami. Up in the capital, 53 degrees and 44 in the Big Apple. Now moving on to our Orange County forecast, temperatures ranging within the upper 50s to low 60s. Along the coast in our beach communities, 59 in Newport Beach, 60 in Laguna Beach, 56 in San Clemente. Further inland, 61 in Westminster, 63 in Orange, 61 in Irvine, and 59 in Mission Viejo. Now taking a look at our 5-day Fenestra forecast, like I said, today expect sunny and clear conditions with a high of 63. Tomorrow the clouds begin to roll in on Wednesday, partly cloudy at 62 degrees. Thursday will be the warmest of the next 5 days at 69 degrees. And on Friday, take a look at that. The rain is back with us, 59 degrees, but it'll be short-lived. By Saturday, the rain will be out of here, but the clouds will remain with a high of 67. Don't forget also, on this weekend, we have daylight savings time, so don't forget to spring those clocks 1 hour ahead. That's it for me in the weather department. Claire and Gavin, back to you.
Thank you, Luis. In international news, protests broke out in Greece after a train crash killed at least 57 people and injured more than 80 others. The collision occurred when a northbound passenger train and a southbound freight train collided on the same track in central Greece. The accident is being blamed on mismanagement of the country's railway system, sparking protests around the country. The station master responsible for the crash has been charged with negligent homicide, and the Greek Prime Minister apologized for any responsibility the government holds in the tragedy. Later this year, the Long Beach Airport will mark 100 years of operation.
And the historic terminal is getting a facelift as part of the milestone celebration. The terminal is closed to the public as it undergoes over $17 million in upgrades. The airport will maintain its full flight schedule during the construction. The renovations will include a seismic retrofit, in addition to repairing many of the building's original design elements from its 1941 opening. The new and improved terminal is expected to reopen early next year. Many college students around the country, including here at Chapman, are using an anonymous social media app called Fizz.
Fizz is controversial, though, and reporter Emma Charles joins us live on main campus to tell us more.
I'm live at Chapman University with sophomore Kedson Hudson to talk about the new social media app Fizz. Hi, Kedson. What has been your experience with the Fizz?
Hi. So I remember when it first came onto campus, it was a really fun, lighthearted, anonymous way to post jokes and memes. But over time, I've seen it become really negative, impacting people I know, impacting the Greek life community, and it honestly just tear people apart, and it's really negative now, and I don't really like it anymore. It honestly makes me really sad because it was something so fun has turned into something so negative.
Thank you so much for your insight. Let's see what some other students have to say about the new social media app.
Anything anonymous where like you can say anything is just like gives the opportunity for bad people to hide behind a screen, and like it's just not productive. It's kind of stupid in my opinion.
Bunch of different people can just come and like post some like funny stuff, but I don't like the negative side to Fizz because I feel like lately it's been like people talking a lot of smack.
Definitely, I know some people who've been like quote unquote like Fizz famous, and like it definitely takes a toll on people when like everyone like knows your name, is making jokes about you.
Fizz originated at Stanford in 2020 and has since expanded to 29 other colleges. Stanford student Parker Daly says the app has been more helpful than not, but says it definitely has its downsides.
I think there, like, as much as there was good things out of it, like trying to figure out how to get classes or people being helpful with getting opinions on professors and things like that, there was also just a lot of negativity. And particularly as a freshman, like I didn't want to be bombarded with negative opinions about Stanford and people complaining about admin or other students or the social life or anything like that.
The app has different categories for people to post, with some posts being fun and harmless. However, because it is anonymous, some students have found the platform has become toxic. Chapman has had an uptick in complaints of online harassment since Fizz joined campus.
So it tends to be that the behavior on it gradually gets worse. It's not like it starts bad and gets better. It's people need to be more offensive, more obnoxious, more vicious to get the same kick that they got the last time.
The app is not associated with Chapman, and because it is anonymous, the university cannot regulate it.
Problem is, we'll never gain access to that. I mean, these anonymous apps are anonymous for a reason, and so our ability to confirm who the identity of people involved is almost impossible. So it's frustrating for everybody involved to say, you know, someone shouldn't be able to threaten me this way or harass me this way. We're like, we agree, but we don't know who it is. You can go to the police, you can go to, you know, Fizz or Yik Yak or whomever you're working with, but our experiences are, it's almost impossible to get that information.
The founders of Fizz did not respond to our request for comment. However, we were able to find out that the app is not truly anonymous and that the founders have access to what everyone says. Despite the increase in online harassment reports, it does not seem like the app is going anywhere anytime soon. This is Emma Charles reporting live for Chapman News. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Emma. An increase in teenagers riding e-bikes in some Orange County suburban areas is causing concern. Some residents in South Orange County communities say some teens are violating traffic laws. Drivers complain that teen bikers take multiple lanes on the road and are often speeding. But teen bikers say drivers are also not always being responsible.
One time a car didn't stop at a stop sign, so I ran into it.
The Sur-On bike, a bike popular among teens, can reach a top speed of up to 50 miles per hour. Some adult drivers want e-bikes banned in their neighborhoods, but not all parents agree. The U.S. consumer...
I think as long as they're safe, I think it's really good that they're on e-bikes and they're cruising around. As long as the parents are watching over them and being responsible, and, you know, like Julian went to...
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says in order to stay safe on e-bikes, riders should wear a helmet at all times and should not perform any stunts.
Orange County-based Saddleback Church has been expelled from the Southern Baptist Convention. The SBC says it took the action because Saddleback has female pastors, which is in violation of convention policies. Saddleback was founded in the 1980s and since then has accumulated more than 40,000 members. The founder, Rick Warren, stepped down as lead pastor in 2021. The same year, he ordained 3 women as pastors. The lead pastor is now Andy Wood, whose wife Stacy is a teaching pastor at the church. After the expulsion, Andy Wood released a statement saying, quote, "God intends for both men and women to exercise their spiritual gifts of shepherding and teaching. This will not stop God's work in and through our Saddleback Church family." Stacy Wood released a similar statement on her Instagram, saying, quote, "I'm serving Jesus under the authority and in alignment with my spiritual leaders." And, quote, "We believe that women can be gifted and empowered as teachers and as pastors." Saddleback Church has the option to appeal this decision, but is yet to say if it will. Tomorrow, March 8th, is International Women's Day. The day aims to celebrate women, advocate for women's rights, and embrace gender equity worldwide.
Today, we're joined by Riya Belani, the Vice President of Chapman University's campus club, Chapman Feminists. So Riya, let's begin by having you tell us a bit about the club. How many members do you have, and what's your goal here on campus and in the community?
Yeah, so we have about over 100 members signed up on Engage, but we have about 10 who show up regularly to meetings, about 20 last year. And our aim on campus is to create a safe space for people to talk about these different issues, as well as to have an activism aspect as well. So by talking about these issues, helping demand change in the community as well. And then just like inspiring change of idea, attitude, and challenging each other by talking about things that we don't often learn in the classroom.
That sounds great. Can you tell us a little bit about just what it means to be a feminist and why you think sometimes for some people that word can have a negative connotation?
Absolutely. Well, I think starting with the negative connotation, comparing masculinity and femininity, femininity is often looked down on and not celebrated as much as masculinity. So even in the name itself, the title feminist is not something that a lot of people want to take on because of the stigma. But to be a feminist is to just advocate for, I think, celebrating femininity and to advocate for equity under the patriarchy and just dismantling the patriarchy in general, which is the overarching like men and like masculine control that covers like our society right now. And so I think that femininity and feminism is especially important because it advocates for everyone, because everyone has like a feminine aspect to them.
And what would you say are some of the most pressing issues currently facing women both here in the U.S. and internationally?
Absolutely. I think that some of the issues that women face internationally and the U.S. are definitely the pay gap, as well as in general, just like respect in the workforce and at home by having to be caregivers, as that's a role that women often have to take on. But also like now with second wave feminism being in the workforce as well, so managing those two roles. I think that also bodily autonomy has been a big issue for feminism internationally and in the U.S. as well, especially with the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Well, that's all the time we have for you today, but thank you so much, Riya, Vice President of Chapman Feminists, for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much.
Since November, there has been a wave of possible poisoning attacks targeting schoolgirls in Iran. More than 50 schools have been affected across several cities. This past weekend, the number of suspected poisonings increased. Worried parents are protesting in Tehran, the capital of Iran, calling for justice. Viral videos on social media show girls hospitalized with a wide variety of symptoms, including nausea, headaches, vomiting, and even some being paralyzed. Iran's supreme leader stated on Monday that if the poisoning is proven to be intentional, those responsible should be sentenced to death.
Kyle Carr here with the question, who's the biggest cat in the jungle? Find out on the Best Campus Sports Show after the break.
I'll be seeing you in all of our favorite places with laughter and warm embraces all day through.
I love you too.
With free COVID-19 vaccines, sunnier days are ahead. Visit getVaccineAnswers.org.
I'll be seeing you.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
The last full moon of winter will be reaching its peak illumination overnight. If you are a night owl, look up at the moon at 4:40 a.m. Pacific time to see the worm moon. According to the almanac, the name of the moon comes from the idea that at this time of year, roots start to push their way up through the soil and the earth experiences a rebirth as it awakens from its winter slumber, and then worms appear. In other lunar news, the European Space Agency is looking into adding a time zone on the moon. In the past, whoever was on the moon would follow the time in their home country. But with so many different countries traveling to the moon in the coming months, the issue of time needs to be solved. The solution? A lunar time zone.
Well, back down here on Earth and in Orange County, there's a local high school with a breakout basketball star.
Gavin, didn't you go to Portola High School?
I actually did. Go Bulldogs, and got to watch her play live.
Well, Kyle Carr has that story and more on the Best Campus Sports Show.
Hello and welcome. I'm Kyle Carr, and you're watching the Best Campus Sports Show. New faces, new places, panic for playoff races. The NHL trade deadline has passed, and fans everywhere are still wondering if they're dreaming or not. The New York Rangers acquire Patrick Kane from the Chicago Blackhawks. San Jose sends Timo Meier to New Jersey, and probably the biggest shocker of all, Jonathan Quick gets sent out by the Los Angeles Kings to the Columbus Blue Jackets. However, after a, pun intended, quick transaction, you will, the Golden Knights acquired the Conn Smythe two-time Stanley Cup winning netminder. As a Ducks fan who has already written off this season, I personally cannot wait to see if the Knights will have to joust the Kings in the soon approaching playoffs. Patrick Mahomes' brother Jackson has been in many controversies. However, this recent one may just be the worst of all. Jackson Mahomes is alleged to have assaulted a waitress and the owner of Aspen's Restaurant and Lounge in Overland Park, Missouri. Mahomes seen here forcibly kissing the 40-year-old owner of the restaurant. He also shoved a 19-year-old server multiple times. According to the owner, Mahomes grabbed her by the throat and kissed her. She called all advances unwanted. A grisly situation in Denver for Ja Morant. The Glendale Police Department in Colorado are investigating whether or not Ja Morant broke any gun laws after Morant was seen showing off a firearm on an Instagram live post. Colorado is an open carry state unless you are under the influence of alcohol or on federal property. The NBA does not allow players to possess a firearm while on team property or while traveling on team business. While unclear if Morant is intoxicated in the live stream video, he will remain absent from the Memphis Grizzlies as they complete their LA road trip tonight against the Lakers. A cat fight in the jungle of Orange broke out this weekend. The Chapman men's lacrosse team took on the Clemson Tigers at Wilson Field in a heated Division I matchup. These big cats haven't met since 2021, and neither team has skipped a beat. The Tigers bared their claws with a couple of quick goals, but after a needed regroup, the Panthers pounced back to take the lead that would last the rest of the game. Clemson's Ian Jackson and Aiden McNulty battled hard to keep the Tigers in the fight, but it wasn't enough to silence the Panthers, led by George McGurk and Liam Nelson, the assassin, not to be confused with Liam Neeson in Taken. Thanks to a strong back end led by Jason Bollinger, the Panthers clawed their way back to a 14-9 victory. And the next go to basketball here in Orange County. The Portola phenom known as Mocha Psyche, or Mobot, is not only the next best thing in the women's game, but basketball as a whole. Playing for what some are calling the Golden State Warriors of high school basketball, the Portola Bulldogs senior Psyche has surpassed the 1,000-point mark and holds every major career scoring record at Portola for both boys and girls basketball, including total points, free throws made, field goals made, three-point percentage, and steals. With an average of 20 points a game, the Mobot led the Bulldogs to the quarterfinals where they fell to the Mark Keppel Aztecs. What a phenomenal time for sports everywhere. I'm Kyle Carr, and this has been the Best Campus Sports Show. Back to you, Claire.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars.
Wow.
But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
A popular zero-calorie sweetener has been linked to increased blood clotting risks, which can lead to heart attacks or strokes. Erythritol is used to sweeten some common zero-calorie sugar alternatives like stevia and monk fruit. A study published in the journal Nature last week established the link. However, according to Time magazine, some experts are skeptical of the study since the study's participants all had pre-existing heart conditions.
Have you been keeping up with all the drama on TikTok between Selena Gomez and Hailey Bieber's fans?
I have not, but I know someone who has. Danielle Burke-North joins us with that story and much more from the entertainment world.
Thanks, Claire and Gavin. I'm Danielle Burke-North, and you already know what time it is. Time for your favorite entertainment segment, Now or Never, where I spill all the Hollywood news now so you never miss out. Let's get started. It is definitely award season with the Independent Spirit Awards, Kid Choice Awards, and the Rolling Loud Music Festival all taking place recently. And get excited for more performances with Oscars this weekend. The 95th Academy Awards show will air live on ABC on Sunday. Late night show host Jimmy Kimmel will host it for the third year. All your favorite artists like Lenny Kravitz, Beyonce, and Rihanna will perform. Some amazing films are nominated, like Top Gun, Avatar, The Way of Water, Elvis, and Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And of course, fans are already making predictions of who they think their winners will be. As for moi, I like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and The Batman. And speaking of the Oscars, it has now been a year since Chris Rock and Will Smith's altercation at last year's show. This video went viral when Will Smith slapped Chris after Chris made a joke about Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her bald head. Her hair loss is a condition called alopecia. Will took to social media to apologize several times for hitting Chris. And now, a year later, Chris finally addressed the slap while on stage in a live Netflix comedy special this weekend.
Anybody that says words hurt has never been punched in the face.
Chris wasn't the only one getting knocked out. Creed 3 just hit theaters this weekend, making over $150 million. During the movie premiere, red carpet, actor and director Michael B. Jordan was interviewed by a high school classmate who Michael says bullied him. He confronted the interviewer.
Corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name.
Many fans took to social media to share how happy it made them to see someone standing up to their bully. I guess Michael is as much a hero in the movies as he is in real life. Unfortunately, that's not the only Hollywood drama. Unless you live under a rock, you've definitely seen the Team Selena or Team Hailey hashtags trending all over social media these past 2 weeks. According to Forbes, the hashtag has been viewed 750 million times on TikTok alone. Fans have been rekindling the drama between Justin Bieber's ex, Selena Gomez, and his wife, Hailey Bieber. Many TikTok users have been posting videos digging at Hailey for being obsessed with and copying Selena. After all the hate comments and debating, Selena responded with a TikTok caption saying, quote, "Please, please be kinder and consider others' mental health. My heart has been heavy and I only want good for everyone. All my love." Billboard says the trending hashtags actually boosted Selena's music streams with an extra 4.1 million downloads by last weekend. And with that, that's this week's segment of Now or Never. I'm Danielle Burke-North. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Danielle. Going out to eat could look a lot different in the near future. Chapman News reporter Alexandra Konyards visited a Tustin restaurant and met a new kind of server.
From the outside, Ican Barbecue might seem like just another Korean restaurant. Yet, once customers walk in, they are greeted by either Elizabeth, Fatima, or Toga, 3 robot servers. Raihan Shirazi is a regular at Ican Barbecue. He says he has enjoyed the new robot servers.
It's cool. I think this started recently. So yeah, I mean it's pretty cool that robot is coming, and it just adds, I guess, to the whole experience that you're having in the restaurant.
I Can Barbecue started using robot servers 8 months ago. Restaurant owner Busha Karazi said the idea came from an online video that had robot servers in Japan. She says they act as a food runner.
Like the robot assist our main server. And customer normally want to sit, they want to talk to server. And very easy for the server and very easy for us too.
According to the restaurant owner, one of the best parts about these robots is how much faster everything gets. Once the food is ready, it gets placed on the trays right here, and you press on the table number, say deliver fast.
I am leaving for delivery.
And it leaves for delivery.
Yet despite their convenience, I Can Barbecue employee Andir Kinbab says the robots are not always friendly.
Sometimes we cannot pass the robot because it's not giving way, it's not kind.
The robot servers can deliver food, speak 50 different languages, take customers' orders, and even sing happy birthday. This is Alexandra Konyarts reporting for Chapman News.
Well, that's it for us this week. Be sure to check out our YouTube page at chapmannews.tv and make sure to follow us at Chapman News. I'm Gavin Nguyen.
And I'm Claire Weber. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next Tuesday with more Chapman News.